Football is back, guys. The Chicago Bears are going to be back in action this Sunday night against the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday Night Football. Who's going to win this matchup? Watch this video to find out. What's going on, guys? I'm back with the Chicago Bears prediction videos, which I'll be doing every single week of this NFL season. So if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to this channel for weekly reaction videos, prediction videos, updates, highlight videos, which I actually have a hype video coming out to you guys probably on Thursday, so be on the lookout for that. 2021 season hype video should be coming out to you guys pretty soon, so if you guys want all that fun content, maybe even some Madden videos, maybe some game reaction videos, which I actually live stream my reaction to the NFL draft this year, which I know a lot of you guys enjoyed. So if you guys want me to live stream my reaction to any games this year, let me know down below in the comments. I'll try to give you guys as much fun content as possible for this season, because guys, I am super hyped for this Bears season because of rookie quarterback Justin Fields, who obviously is not starting right now. We don't know when he's gonna start because of Matt Nagy, but I guarantee you guys, it's not gonna be that long. Okay, I'm predicting Fields is gonna come in there week 4 and the rest is gonna be history. It's gonna be a fun season with Fields, but right now we have Andy Dalton, okay, the 10+ year veteran, and we're gonna be going into Los Angeles on national television on Sunday Night Football with this guy, okay? And obviously I have a bunch of mixed emotions about starting out against an opponent this tough with our current team, on the national stage. It's probably not the most ideal scenario to be in, so if you got a chance to choose a schedule, I would probably rather open up against a team like the Lions. But hey guys, okay, it's a challenge and our team is not going to back down from a challenge, and I'm still going to have fun watching this game regardless, okay, if we win or if we lose, because Bears football is Bears football, okay? And let me start talking about this game right now, okay? So obviously, like I mentioned, we're playing the Los Angeles Rams, who are going to be a very good football team in 2021, okay? They have a great roster. They have now a different quarterback who probably is an upgrade over Jared Goff. Not probably, I would say he's definitely an upgrade over Jared Goff, okay? Acquired Matt Stafford from the Detroit Lions, who us Bears fans are way too familiar with already, okay? Seeing this guy go up against our team for the past 10 years. Coaching is a strength with this team. Sean McVay is viewed as being one of the top play callers in the NFL, one of the better coaches too in this league. And if you look at what this roster has done over the past, 3+ years now, they have been doing pretty well in the regular season and sometimes in the playoffs as well, right? They got to the Super Bowl a couple years ago, but didn't really do much there when they got to the Super Bowl. But regardless, they have had great rosters over the past few years, and it's definitely going to be a tough challenge for this current Chicago Bears team, okay? We are 7.5-point underdogs in this game on the road. Practically nobody expects us to win this game. Probably nobody's going to pick us to win this game, but football is crazy and unpredictable, okay? That's the thing I love the most about the sport. You can never be too certain that a given team is going to win because crazy stuff happens in football, guys, okay? Some unknown player makes a play, some unknown defensive back makes an interception, stuff like that happens in football, which can totally change the outcome of a game, which is what us Bears fans are going to hope happens in this game, because we are definitely not favored to win this game at all. But enough talking about the odds. Let me give you guys an overview first of both the Bears roster and the Rams roster, because obviously both teams made moves over the offseason, which is going to impact how they played this season. But talking about the Rams offense, first of all, probably the biggest move they made this entire offseason was acquiring Matt Stafford from the Detroit Lions, okay? They traded away a bunch of draft capital to the Lions and acquired Matt Stafford to be their next starting quarterback, which, honestly, I thought that was a very good move for the Rams, because they pretty much reached their ceiling with Jared Goff, right? I mean, even though Jared Goff can be a pretty decent quarterback, he can be a pretty above average quarterback at the best, he has not been capable of making those gunslinging type of throws that, Sean McVay wanted on this offense. He really had to cater this offense to the limitations of Jared Goff rather than building an exciting offense around a guy like Matt Stafford. I really feel like, Sean McVay and Jared Goff obviously didn't see eye to eye. So getting a quarterback like Matt Stafford, who's been stuck on some pretty horrible Lions teams over the past decade, to replace him, and, a guy who's shown a lot of composure, in tough situations, a guy that's shown the heart of a champion pretty much, right? Even though he's not won many games, he's played injured for the Lions. He's been tough for the Lions. He's carried some pretty bad Lions teams. So I really feel like, Matt Stafford could be a match made in heaven for Sean McVay if things work out well. But the thing is, though, guys, is that Matt Stafford has never had this much pressure to win a Super Bowl during his entire career. Okay, this is the first time in his entire career that he actually has pressure of winning right now. So we'll see if he can perform under that pressure, if he's going to crumble in the spotlight. Okay, obviously Los Angeles is a very different place than Detroit. So it's going to be a culture change. It's going to be a change in expectations. And it's not 100% guaranteed he's going to get through that with flying colors, right? Like, a lot of people crumble in the spotlight. And I'm not saying that Matt Stafford is going to be one of those people, but I'm just saying it's not 100% guaranteed that this is going to work, even though everybody in the media and, you know, all the fans, they love it right now. So pay attention to that, you know, to see if this, you know, marriage between Sean McVay and Matt Stafford, if it's actually going to work. Personally, I think it will work, but nothing is guaranteed in the NFL. But that's, you know, a big guy that they added. Obviously, other guys that they added this offseason. One is wide receiver Deshaun Jackson, who's been in the league for, feels like decades now, right? Like, this guy is super old. He's probably not close to what he used to be, but he still has that speed, that burning threat going down the field. So good speedy option for them. They also drafted wide receiver Tutu Atwell from Louisville. So that's another pretty good pickup for them, a young receiver. But they did lose a lot of talent too on this offense. So talking about talent that they lost over this offseason on the offense, they lost tight end Gerald Everett. They lost wide receiver Josh Reynolds, who had over 600 yards last year. So I would say that might hurt to some extent. Now, obviously, it wasn't a superstar for them, but he was a decent, you know, wide receiver number 3 for them, which they're not going to have anymore. So lost that guy, lost center Austin Blythe. Lost, and this is a big one, guys. They lost running back, probably starting running back this year, Cam Akers, for the entire season due to a torn Achilles, which is definitely going to impact their running game, right? Because now they only have Darrell Henderson as the lead back, when last year both Akers and Henderson had around the same amount of yards and carries, you know, throughout the season, right? So last year they were definitely a two-headed running back monster. This year they're only going to be a one-headed running back monster with Henderson there, and they obviously have other guys behind him as well, but they're not close to being proven options. So this running back room of the Los Angeles Rams is definitely going to take a hit with the loss of AKERS, but otherwise, man, it is a pretty solid roster on the offensive side of the football. Okay, obviously they were a top level offensive line last year, top 10 I would say in the NFL. They still have pretty much all the pieces besides the center there, so pretty decent offensive line, good weapons on the outside. Got Cooper Kupp, got Robert Woods, had 2,000 yards combined almost between the both of them last year. So solid receiving options. They also have tight end Tyler Higbee to throw to in the red zone. This guy's 6'6", massive, can post up on you. So another good option for Matt Stafford to throw to. And talking about the running back Darrell Henderson, this guy could be a pretty good back this year in the NFL. Obviously, he's no superstar, but he has enough speed, he has enough agility to, you know, really succeed in this Sean McVay running scheme behind this pretty good blocking that they have as well. So overall, I would say they still have a pretty good offensive personnel, and especially with Matt Stafford now being inserted into this lineup with a coach like Sean McVay, it could be a pretty talented offense this year in the NFL. But talking about the Rams defense then, the strength of their team, man, they lost a lot of people over this offseason, which I feel like the media is not talking about enough, guys. Okay, I still think personally it's going to be a top 10 defense based on all the talent they still have, but I'm not so sure it's going to be the same level of, you know, dominant defense, the best defense in the NFL that we saw last year, because they lost their defensive coordinator, Brandon Staley. Okay, this guy is one of the smartest minds in the NFL. He was on the Bears coaching staff in 2018. Okay, he was the assistant coach at some level. So you can see that 2018 Bears roster, man, that was stacked with coaching talent, okay, on the defensive side of the football. You saw Vic Fangio get a job. You saw Ed Donatell get a job. You saw Brandon Staley now get a job. So we had a lot of talented coaches on that team, which is why our defense was so good. But the point I'm trying to make here, guys, is that when you go from a proven thing in Brandon Staley to an unproven thing in Raheem Morris, who this guy was an interim coach last year for the Falcons, you know, it might not end up as good as you think, even with all the talent that you have on the roster, right? Like, us Bears fans saw that firsthand after we went from Vic Fangio to Chuck Pagano. It was nowhere close to the same level of defense in 2019, even though we had most of the players there besides for, you know, Amos, and Akeem Hicks got injured as well, and Bryce Callahan too. So obviously we did lose players too, but that's exactly what this Rams defense did as well. Okay, they lost starting safety John Johnson, one of the better safeties in the entire NFL. He went to the Cleveland Browns. They lost cornerback Troy Hill, who was also, you know, I would say an average starter for them, maybe above average at times. So this guy also was a pretty good player for them. Obviously, they have a lot of good cornerbacks already, so it's probably not going to hurt them as much. But this guy was still pretty solid depth for them. They also lost, you know, edge player Samson Ebicam. They lost Michael Brockers as well, who's been on this team for a long time. And obviously, I'm not trying to say these guys are all superstars. Okay, they still have a lot of talent on this defense. They still have Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, two of the best players at their positions, probably the best players at their positions. They still have Darius Williams. They still have, Taylor Rapp. They still have a lot of talent on this defense. So in no ways am I trying to say this defense does not have talent anymore. All I'm saying is that it might not be the same level of dominant as they were in 2020 because of the loss of Brandon Staley, but also because of the loss of some other players that they had on this defense. But still a pretty damn good defense to go up against for the Chicago Bears. Talking about the Bears now, obviously I'm not going to give as long of an overview about this team because if you guys have been watching my videos over the past few weeks, you already know my opinions on this team and you know all the moves that this team made. But talking about the Bears offense, first of all, obviously we upgraded heavily probably at quarterback, okay? And maybe Dalton is not that much of an upgrade over Trubisky and Foles, but I would say Justin Fields, rookie quarterback Justin Fields, he could definitely be one of the biggest upgrades we have ever made at the quarterback position, okay? But for this game, Andy Dalton has been named the starter, so we're not even going to talk about Justin Fields because barring injury, barring a horrible half by Andy Dalton, I don't see Justin Fields entering this game just yet, okay? Wait a couple weeks. I don't think it's going to happen in this game, but talking about Andy Dalton, guys, obviously this guy is a meddling starter at the very best in the league right now. He was signed to be a backup last time he signed a contract with the Dallas Cowboys, but the Bears then tried to sign him as a starter to play in front of Justin Fields, which is what they think he's capable of doing. Obviously, personally, I don't think he's going to last this long. He's not a good quarterback in this league who can transcend all the issues that we have on this offense, the issues that we have on the offensive line. I mean, our offensive line at tackle right now, we have a big question mark, okay? Especially at right tackle, Germain Ifedi had a horrible preseason. This guy barely even played in training camp because he was injured a good portion at training camp. So we have problems at right tackle, maybe at left tackle too. I mean, Jason Peters was a lot better in that preseason game than Elijah Wilkinson was at least, but this guy still is nearing the age of 40, so he might not be the most reliable health-wise, but at least for now we have him. But offensive line definitely has some question marks. Like I mentioned, play caller definitely has some question marks as well, okay? A lot of Bears fans have been very skeptical about Matt Nagy's ability to call plays after he has never had really a great or even average offense in this city if you go by yards, right? I mean, in 2018, he had a good scoring offense, but that was probably mostly because of the great field position that our defense gave us. So Matt Nagy, coaching-wise, has a ton of question marks. If you look at probably the strength of our team, though, on the offense, it's definitely the running backs and the receiving room, okay? We have a guy in Dave Montgomery who was top 5 in rushing yards last year, who had a fantastic end to 2020. A lot of depth now behind him as well. Tariq Cohen is not playing in this game. He's still on the PUP list, but we signed veteran RB Damian Williams, a nice speedy option, a nice third down back potentially. We also drafted Khalil Herbert, who was, he had a very good preseason and training camp as well. So I really like our running back rotation right now. If you look at our receivers, then obviously Allen Robinson, one of the best receivers in the entire NFL. Complimentary guy next to him is, Darnell Mooney, who had a pretty solid rookie year. Okay, this guy was open on a multitude of different plays going down the field last year on post routes, on fly routes, and our quarterbacks just could not hit him, okay? And we saw this last year against the Rams as well, okay? Darnell Mooney caught Jalen Ramsey on that route going down the field on the double move, but even though he was wide open, Nick Foles could not deliver the ball to him. So hopefully that's going to change now, but with a quarterback like Andy Dalton who lacked the deep accuracy, I don't know, okay? So clearly we have a lot of talent in this receiving core. We also added a lot of speed over the offseason, okay? Added a bunch of speedy guys in Marquise Goodwin, Damiere Byrd, Brashad Perriman as well. So we have a lot of juice now on this offense, and hopefully, we can take advantage of it. The Bears defense, on the other hand, I really don't know what they're going to be this year, okay? Because they still have the talent to be a top 10 defense, right? They still have guys like Khalil Mack. Eddie Goldman is coming back. That's a big get that we have now on the defensive line. So Eddie Goldman at nose tackle, that's definitely going to help. We have Akeem Hicks, coming back fully healthy. We have Roquan Smith coming off a career year. Jalen Johnson, young corner who had pretty solid rookie season. But the big loss that we had, obviously, was #1 cornerback Kyle Fuller. So I'm definitely worried about the Bears secondary right now. I don't know if we have the depth, the talent to have a top-level secondary. Now, our pass rush, our front seven can definitely make our cornerbacks look better with how they do. Like, if we have a top 10 season in sacks, right? Like, that's obviously going to make our cornerbacks, our secondary, look a lot better than they actually are, which is probably what new defensive coordinator Sean Desai is banking on, okay? A lot more pressure, a lot more blitzes, a lot more creativity to make this lesser talented team look better than it actually is. But Again, man, some talent is definitely there, but I don't know what they are at this point in time. Enough talking about both teams. Let me move on now to the next part of my video, which is the 3 keys to a Bears victory. Okay, how can the Chicago Bears actually win this game in my eyes? And key number 1, guys, is going to be to force quick passes out of Andy Dalton, okay? To have a scheme that employs a lot of quick passes, a lot of quick motions that can really limit the effectiveness of this pretty great Rams defense, this pretty great Rams pass rush, right? Specifically Aaron Donald. That's the one guy I'm definitely worried about, because even though our interior has been probably the strength of our offensive line the last few years, you just cannot stop a guy like Aaron Donald, okay? This guy is a one-man wrecking crew, one of the best defensive players in the history of this game, and pretty much the only way we can counteract this with a questionable offensive line is to get the ball out of Andy Dalton's hands as fast as possible. Okay, you don't want him holding on to the ball for longer than a couple seconds, because their pass rush is probably going to get home by that time. So we really need to find a way to get our receivers out in space, especially our speedy options. Okay, guys like Damiere Byrd, guys like Darnell Mooney, guys like Marquise Goodwin. Get these guys open in space and have them try to make moves after the catch, because that's probably how you're going to succeed against a defense like this one, okay? And obviously, Andy Dalton is not the type of guy that can extend plays beyond the pocket. So if pressure is coming crashing towards him, he's probably going to get sacked. So pretty much the only thing you can pretty much do in this game if you're Matt Nagy is try to scheme as many quick throws as you possibly can. Obviously, that's going to limit the amount of explosive plays you can get going down the field, but you just have to try to beat them slowly by making Andy Dalton's job as easy as possible. So if you're Matt Nagy, you really have to be creative in this game to find ways to scheme Andy Dalton into getting positive yardage. But that's, a challenge that's due to your own fault, okay? Due to your own choice of quarterback. If you had Justin Fields in this game, you would have had that 4.4 speed to work with, that insane deep accuracy, okay? Obviously, we saw this stuff in college, but guys, as a prospect, Justin Fields provides so much more upside for this Bears offense than Andy Dalton, but Matt Nagy chose Andy Dalton. He's going to have to live with the play of Andy Dalton and, what that entails for this offense, okay? I don't think it's going to be pretty, based on my predictions right now, but I'm hoping Matt Nagy can find a way to make it work, because obviously I'm a Bears fan and I want to see the Bears have success right now. So that's key number 1, just get the ball out super fast. Key number 2 then is going to relate to the defense, and that is that the Bears front 7, man, they have to have themselves a hell of a day if we have any chance of winning this game. And that's mainly because we have to give our defense some great field position and limit big plays on the opposing side of the football, okay? If Matt Stafford is going down the field, if he's comfortable in the pocket, if he's passing down the field 20, 30 yards with ease, we are most definitely not going to win this game. The only way I can see us winning this game is if Khalil Mack, Robert Quinn, Eddie Goldman, who's coming back, Akeem Hicks, Bill Nichols, if collectively all these guys play the game of their lives and just force Matthew Stafford out of the pocket, get those QB hits, those pressures, those sacks especially. I would love to see our defense finish a job instead of letting Matt Stafford, run around, right? Because we saw last game we played against Stafford, against the Detroit Lions, we let Stafford, come back in that game and lead his team to an unlikely victory. So, yeah, obviously you have to put Stafford in the dirt, okay? You have to hit him, you have to bring him down, and that's pretty much the only way we're going to limit this Rams offense, right? Because obviously their offensive line is pretty good. They have pretty good weapons too. They have nice weapons on the outside. They have speed there. They have, a solid running back too. So what you have to do in this game is just get up in Matt Stafford's face and just hope for the best at that point in time, okay? Get those sacks, try to get some turnovers, force him into making some pretty bad throws, and that's pretty much the only way you're going to win this game if you are the Bears defense. But then finally, going to key number 3, guys, it also relates to the defense, but that is that I want to see the Bears defense take a lot of chances in this game. Do not play it safe whatsoever. Go for the big play, go for that big interception, go for the big sack, that big turnover, because we're not going to win this game without making big plays on the defensive side of the football, because I just do not trust our offense whatsoever to put up points in this game. But if you get a turnover here, if you get a defensive touchdown there, that greatly raises your chances of winning this game. So if I'm Sean Desai, man, I'm dialing up a lot of blitzes, okay? Get that pressure in Stafford's face, gamble a little bit, and if you get beat, that's whatever, okay? You have to live with that, because I would rather get beat over the top than just let them slowly churn the clock and just run down the field and dominate the game that way. Okay, I want us to be risky on defense, try to make that big play, try to make that big sack, the big turnover, because that's the only way we're actually going to win this game. As for my score prediction for this game, man, I really want to pick the Chicago Bears to win, but just being as realistic as possible, which in this year's videos, guys, I'll try to be as realistic as possible, put my bias aside. I have the Chicago Bears losing this one by a score of 24-16 in LA, mainly because I don't have any faith in our offense right now, guys. Like, just being dead honest, I don't have faith in Matt Nagy as a play caller with a quarterback like Andy Dalton. If we had Justin Fields in there, that would be a totally different situation, because we've already seen in preseason Justin Fields is capable of making plays work on his own. He has the mobility, that playmaking ability that few quarterbacks in this league have. So that would have been a great benefit to our offense, even though he is a rookie. But having a quarterback in Andy Dalton in there who has not looked inspiring at all this preseason, who we've accomplished basically nothing with this entire preseason, I just don't see how I can predict us to score many points in this game when we haven't accomplished anything at all with this quarterback in preseason, when this quarterback wasn't that good last year to begin with. So just right now, I can't see us scoring that much, that many points. But I do think our defense is going to prevent this from being a blowout, because I have a lot of faith, guys, in our front seven. I actually do think that Khalil Mack, Eddie Goldman, Akeem Hicks, they are going to have some level of success and force Matt Stafford into making some pretty bad throws. Force Matt Stafford out of the pocket. Get a couple sacks as well. But ultimately, I don't think it's going to be enough, because I don't think our offense can put up, enough points to actually win this game. Obviously, I hope I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong on this. I would love to see Andy Dalton go out there and put up 40 points on this defense and win this game. But realistically, that's probably not going to happen. As for my Bears offensive MVP of this game, I have that being David Montgomery, running back David Montgomery. I say that because I feel like Matt Nagy is really going to try to run the ball in this game to also counteract that pretty good pass rush the Rams have. So Monty should get a decent amount of carries. He should be active in the passing attack as well. So I think he can get maybe around like 80, 100 all-purpose yards, a touchdown as well, which in a low-scoring game, that would probably be the best offensive performance. So Monty, offensive MVP. For defensive MVP, I have that being Eddie Goldman. Okay, big boy returning in the middle. I think he's going to make his presence felt early on in this season. He's going to play some fantastic run defense. He's going to get a sack as well, and overall be a monster on the interior of this defensive line. But that's pretty much all the stuff I had to say for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think about this game. If you think the Bears are going to win it, what you think the final score is going to be, and all that good stuff. Obviously, I'm praying for a Bears victory, and I still think we can win this game, guys. Like, that's the thing about the NFL. Crazy stuff happens all the time. So the Bears definitely could win this game, and I would love to be wrong on my prediction. But realistically speaking, that's probably not going to happen. But Andy Dalton, if you're watching this, you're probably not, but if you're watching this, go out there, prove me wrong, win us this game. I cannot wait for Bears football to be back. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave your comments down below. As always, bear down.